Last Sunday, I invited us all to spend a little time penetrating the terrain of the awakened heart, the awakened mind. And particularly, I invited us all to try to get a embodied, felt sense of what it is as we enter that very wonderful, most central space. What I want to do today is actually continue working on that, a little bit more of penetrating that theme. And what I'd like to do is to introduce it with a text that I hope that if you haven't already, most of you will get a chance to read. And that's the Vimalakirti Sutra, because it's really relevant. The sutra actually is a Mahayana sutra, and it has all the themes of this wonderful interconnection, non-duality, and most centrally expedient means. And the sutra, in some ways, is a delightful mythological drama. It portrays Vimalakirti, who some of you may know was not a monastic, not one of the traditional patriarchs. He was a layperson, and he was wildly successful. He was like, he would be on the level of Elon Musk today with the way they describe his wealth and his fame. But his name actually means untainted fame. There was no taint of egoism, and his fortunes were devoted to the poor. So the drama unfolds where in his role of trying to bring people into the awakened life, he feigns being ill. And all these great people come and visit him so that they could have a chance to, so he could have a chance to share the Dharma with them. But then at one point, he says, none of the bodhisattvas, none of the people in the heavenly Tushita heaven have come to visit me. And the Buddha, the Lord Buddha, they call him in the text, says, well, guys, come on, go visit him. And one person after another, when the Buddha calls them, starting with, I think, Shariputra, they say, no, I'm not going to go to visit him, because the last time he and I talked, he sort of embarrassed me by how wonderful his teaching is. So everybody declines. And then finally, the Buddha says to Manjushri, the great bodhisattva, the one who is to come at the end of time, the teacher of the Buddhas as they are, not the Buddhas, the bodhisattvas, as they're waiting to make this final movement into nirvana. And he declines, but the Buddha said, no, you gotta go. So what happens in this drama is then everybody says, okay, we're all gonna go. So thousands of people show up in Vimalakirti's room, which expands for everybody. And a number of things happen there, but what I want to point out for our purposes today is that Vimalakirti poses a question to them and says, what is the bodhisattva's entry to the Dharma gate of non-duality? And then you have, I counted them this morning, 30 different bodhisattvas and teachers giving an answer, and they were all good answers. And then he asks Maitreya Bodhisattva to answer, and he gives a wonderful answer too, which is basically saying, you know, it's not in words, it's silent, and another good answer. And then Maitreya turns the table and says, well, what do you say? And the answer of Vimalakirti is silence. And this is one of those silences that shakes the entire universe. So I want to use this as a way to kind of move us more deeply into our practice here, and to ponder with Vimalakirti and all of the bodhisattvas, what's the entry point for us to the Dharma gate of non-duality? What is our entry point? Sometimes, as you know, we need to be in a place of duality. If you're on a highway and an 18-wheeler is coming at you, it's very, very important not to be worried about becoming one with it. You know, you really do need to get into a different lane. So why? Why is this so important? Why is this place of non-duality important? It's not something we earn on the way to awakening. It is awakening itself. It's not a badge we wear or an honor we receive. It's a central dimension of how we live in the awakened life, as the awakened life, and embody it. So when, in contrast, when we're in this narrow fame and gain mind that Dogen talks about, or this afflicted mind, we're really ghosts. We're ghosts. We're the walking dead when we're in that place. And just take some time and you'll know what I'm talking about. So when we're in narrow mind, we're separated from ourselves. We might be beating ourselves up. We might be thinking about the past, the present, but we are divided internally. We're outside of our lives. We're ghosts. We're separated from the people that we're encountering. We may be going through the motions, but we're not showing up fully. We're not present to the big context of our life, our own life, and to the world, to the environment. So let's face it, if you look at this fame and gain mind, this place where we protect ourselves, where we're caught up in this ghost-like state, it's really the place of suffering. And if you really want to put language on it, it really sucks. If you really look at it, it stinks. It's rough. And it's suffering. It is dis-ease at its core. So you might say, what's the entry gate? Or you might say, like, what is the place where we leave this narrow, difficult place? What are your expedient means to do this? To reconnect with presence, with harmony, internal harmony, this lovely oneness of the awakened life. So, of course, the first place really is Zazen. We experience it there, but it can't stop there, of course. How do we bring it out into every facet of our life? So it begins to know that there are places and ways that you can move gracefully into this place of non-duality. It might be taking several breaths. It might be just shutting up. and listening. Listening with your heart, being present. You might find it helpful, as I do, and maybe some of you, that just paying attention to posture in some of those tough places could be helpful, or a verse from a sutra or a word. Some of you are studying mu, it might be mu, but it might be something like just this that you say to yourself, or here, now, or one. So there are many practices that we could develop that helps us to enter. And it probably is most important to ask, where is this needed most? Where do we really need to bring this undivided heart and mind, this open mind, this compassionate mind to our life? It might be some of the routine things. When we eat our meals, I don't know about you, but I need to call myself back very, very frequently to really mindfully eat. It might be in encountering a particular person who you just find gets under your skin, is difficult. That's a time and a place that you might want to practice this particularly, or a recurring work situation, or that headset that we all get into where we're either beating ourselves up or distracting ourselves or preoccupied with the last thing that set us off, or worried about the future. Might be places where we find ourselves going numb. So, kind of connected today, it might even be at places where we are really trying to live the precepts more deeply. These are all places where we might want to develop a practice of particularly making use of the Dharma gates that allow us to move into big mind. So I ask you to bring this into the week. Give it some attention. Don't make this a thing or a project. Don't make it something that you have to muscle and so that you could attain it and get someplace. But make it a practice, a companion for your day. The very way that you kind of breathe and live and move through your life. But most of all, make it a way that you embody compassion, a way you bring that compassion to yourself, to the people you're with, to your very life.